Two. Welcome to this special episode of So You Want to Sell on eBay. I'm Ron LeBeau.
And I'm Ali Young.
Hey everyone, we have with us today Liz O'Kane. Liz, how you doing
Yes.
I'm doing great. How are you?
today? I am doing fantastic. Ali, I know that you're doing fantastic.
I
in
am
Thailand.
indeed.
You're always doing fantastic in
Even
Thailand,
more
so
fantastic because we've got Liz O'Kane on board. So, yes, awesome. Thanks
There
for
you go.
joining us.
right.
Thank you
So
for having
yeah, so if you don't know Liz, she actually started part-time on eBay in 2002. She's retired from the Air Force in 2016 and has been selling full-time since then. Liz, thank you for being a part of our summit. This is going to be so awesome. We're going to have a great topic for you tonight. It is how to manage your eBay income.
Ooh.
It's a really good topic because there's so much with selling on eBay. You bring in this money and then what? So let's talk about that. And I'll let you decide where you want to start with that.
Well, so as you said, I sold part-time for the longest time while I was in the Air Force. I retired. I decided, you know what? This is going to be my full-time job. This is me. So I kind of went about eBay like I normally had and figured, you know what? I really need to get a hold on this. I need to know how much to make. How am I making my eBay money work for me?
Yep.
So I really had to crunch the numbers because I was a full-time seller now. This was my business. I wasn't selling to take a vacation to Disney or buy a new pair of shoes.
Right.
This is my income. I had to control it.
Yep.
So I kind of came up with a couple of ways for me to kind of open my eyes.
Okay.
For me to manage my money. And when you asked me to do this, I was nervous at first, but then I was like, why am I nervous?
This is what you do.
This is what I do every day. And hopefully this is what a lot of eBay sellers are either doing, thinking about doing, or see this and say, ooh, I think I could make my money work for me.
Yes.
Awesome.
But if you don't mind, I came up with a couple of things. I know we only have 30 minutes. I want to try and pack in as much as I can for it to make sense. Is that okay?
Yeah, go for it. It's your gig.
All right. So we hear a lot of people talk about, first you have to ask yourself, why are you selling on eBay? What's your why? Are you looking to feed your family dinner for the night? Are you looking to make a car payment? Are you looking to supplement your full-time income? Are you looking to be a millionaire?
Yep.
You need to figure out why you're selling on eBay. You need to make goals. Know your household budget. Is it, okay, well, I need X amount of dollars a month in order to survive. Well, how do you get there? Is it about listing? Is it about buying? Is it about selling? You really need to figure that out. What I did is I hear a lot, and a lot of people get motivated. You hear people on social media, YouTube. I sold $10,000 this month. That's great. And I used to see that and be like, I am never going to be able to do that.
Yep.
But I crunched the numbers, right?
Yeah.
Or sometimes it discourages people. I can't do $10,000 a month. We did $10,000. That's a lot of money.
Yep.
So what I did is you got to really look at, so you sold $10,000. What does that really mean? I want to break it down, and I'm just going to use $10,000 as a cap.
Go for it.
Your mileage may vary.
Yeah.
Every seller is different. This is just a clean, easy number cap with realistic numbers. Let's say you did $10,000 in gross sales. You need to take out your cost of goods sold. I said about $1,000. Your shipping fees for the month, about $1,000. Your eBay final value fees, about $1,000. Your PayPal fees, about $275. You've got promoted listing fees, store subscription fees, supplies,
Damn.
mailers, your bubble wrap, everything.
Dog food.
Subscriptions. Do you have GoDaddy? Are you subscribed to any groups? Take that out. Once I came down to that, it came down to $6,500.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
So, I mean, and this is 25 promoted free fees, $60 store subscription fees, $100 in supplies, $40 in subscriptions.
Yep.
It's not exorbitant. Those are real numbers. So out of that $6,500, a lot of people will go down and be realistic and say, but that's after all of my fees are taken out. What some people kid themselves, and I am so guilty of doing it too, is we stop there. We also have incidentals. We have to pay taxes. whether it's federal, whether it's state, everybody's different. You need to know what your tax bracket is. You need to get with your accountant. Me personally, I take that number and I put 25% aside. I put
Okay.
that 25% aside for taxes, for eBay Open, because I want to go to that every year.
Yep.
Unforeseen circumstances. Out of that leaves me with $48.75 a month out of $10,000 sold.
Damn, it's getting
And
less.
that's 3 hours.
You want to stop there. You don't want to keep going. You want to stop there.
Right. So really, your 10,000 gross is more like $48.75 a month net. That's just over 2,400 a week, or 2,400 every 2 weeks, or 1,200 a week.
Is that the cost of goods as well then, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yes,
that's everything. So profit, full profit out of that 10 grand, four and a half, about something like that.
Correct. So about 49% is what you're looking at.
I mean, seriously though, if you know that it's about 50%, let's just say 50% for easy numbers, you just know that going in. And if you want to net 10,000, you got to sell 20,000. If you want to net 5,000, just sell 10,000. And really,
absolutely,
there's no better place to do this. Really, I mean, eBay's bringing you the traffic, the fees. Hey, you know what? It's cost of doing business. I mean, if you had a brick and mortar store, it would cost you 10 times that much.
Absolutely.
So smile and dial, man. Just make it happen. It's just...
Absolutely. And my thing is, be honest with yourself. And I tell myself, and I do that. I tell myself 50%.
Yep.
So if I see 6,000 sold, 10,000 sold, 50, I know that mine's 50%. In reality, so now it may be more than that.
Actually, the 50%, and then you still have to take 25% of that for taxes.
Correct.
So yeah, I mean, it's a consideration, but you know what? Still,
as long as you're being real with yourself.
So how do you manage all that? I mean, how do you let's say you know all that. How do you manage that? Are you saving money in different bank accounts per month? I mean, what's your process in managing all that money?
So this is what I do. This was my eye opener, right? Okay, well, if I'm selling, when I was doing part-time, $500, $1,000, and now I'm full-time, so it's more than that. Again, we go back to, what do I need? I had to ask myself, what do I want to pay myself? The way I manage my money is I go through this, right? I know that I'm about 50%. I've got my money tucked away. I have mine down to a science. I pay myself every 2 weeks, every other Friday, a flat fee. Okay. I don't just get paid and take all my money out.
So you're paying a wage. You pay a wage for yourself.
I pay myself the salary, flat fee. It's less than what's left over because I like to have a buffer. I give myself an annual bonus.
Oh, nice.
Well, you're a good boss. How do I become one of your workers?
Right. So after everything's said and done, I like to give myself a bonus. But to get there, I had to ask myself, okay, so you've got to figure out what you want a month. Let's just go off of that number, $4,800 a month. Yep. Let's just say you're doing this and you're like, I need $4,800 a month. And that's doable. You need to sell $10,000 a month.
Right.
So, but what does that mean in your everyday life? So do you just wake up on the first of the month and go, oh my gosh, $10,000, I need to get it done. You need to plan your days. You need to plan your weeks, your days. And this is how a formula I came up with mine. Anybody can do it. Really, you're looking at 2,500 in sales a week.
Okay.
Right.
That breaks down to $350 and change a day. So that's your goal. You want to be able to sell at least $350 a day. What do you need to do to sell $350 a day? You need to list $350 a day.
Yeah.
Damn, this science is getting good.
So for list 2, list 4, list 10. And I get that. Some days I only get 1 or 2 items up. Some days I don't get any. But I know on average how much money or how much inventory I need to list per week in order to hit my goals.
Is that assuming that it's all selling though? I mean, would you add extra on it so you'd list 20 items instead of 10?
Absolutely. And this is the bare minimum. This is saying if I list this, then this is going to sell. So, but in realistic, you can't list 100 and sell 350, right? So if you want to sell 350 a day, you have to list 350 a day. These are all average. These, again, all your mileage may vary, but that's how I justify it in my head. If I wanted to make that much money. So really, you need to really know your cost of goods. How much are you paying for items? What is your average sale price? Here's just a good snapshot. I use fair, even, easy numbers. Let's say your average sale price is $40. Let's say you average a $40, that's your average price of the item that you've sold. Let's say your average cost of your goods is $5. That's a $35 gross per item.
Right. Yep.
That's about 10 items a day.
Damn.
Wow.
For that 350.
You make it sound so easy.
Minimum, that's 70 a week. 280 items a month, minimum that you need to list. So when you break it down, it's more manageable. So if you break it down per day, you can wake up in the morning and go, okay, how am I going to get $350 worth of items listed today? Or how am I going to get $10 worth of items listed today? Or what's my average cost of goods? What's my average selling price? Get those and work backwards. Don't wake up on the first and go $10,000 and be so overwhelmed that you kind of lose track.
Right.
Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. I mean, you've taken a real high number and you've brought it down to something that's very practical, like $300 and something a day, and how to actually do that as well, which is amazing.
Correct. So for me, and that, again, that's how I managed my money. That's how I was able to break it down and say, I want this much money a month. I'm going to pay myself every 2 weeks. How do I get there? I was so lost. I was like doing everything right because, again, I was used to getting up and putting on a uniform and going to work all day and coming home. And now I had the whole day to myself. And what I really wanted to do was sleep all day, but I knew I had to get this to work. So I had to have a reason every morning. I had to have a daily goal. And looking at, we're just going to use that $10,000, waking up on the first, that was just too much to process as a whole month.
Yeah.
So when I was able to break it down per day, that really, really helped me to figure out what should I be doing to get there.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, really, it's overwhelming. I mean, if you wake up on February 1st and, your end goal is 10,000 a month, that's overwhelming, man. It could easily kind of grasp hold of you. But if you break it down today and say, you know what, 350 today, 350 tomorrow, all of a sudden it's chunks and little bite-sized, nuggets there that you can make it happen.
Yes. And again, it seems like a huge number. But it was a lot easier to me when I broke it down and I was real with myself.
Right.
Instead of looking at those high numbers. One of the things to add to that is, you go back to your cost of goods and your average selling price. That's going to be different for everybody. You've got sellers that buy for a nickel, sell for $1. And you can do that 1,000 times all day. You've got your sellers that buy for 10, sell for 20. Everybody's going to have to make these numbers work for themselves. But at the end of the day, if you have a goal, how much your household needs, or how much you want for that family vacation, or whatever your why is, why ever you're doing this, if you're able to break it down.
Right.
And be realistic with yourself so that, the IRS tax man doesn't come and get you at the end of the day, or you run out of supplies and you're like, oh, I didn't allocate any money for supplies this month. How am I going to ship out these sales?
Right.
If you plan your money, it's going to be a lot easier for you.
Yeah, and just if you're listening out here and you're just starting out, we're talking $10,000 a month. That's a head start. So, just break it down to $2,500 a month. Start out with $500 a month if you want, and just figure out what that is per day, and just get in that habit. And once you get that done on a consistent basis, double it. Just double it and go to 1,000, and then just work from there, because we're talking big numbers here and we don't want to overwhelm anybody that's just starting out. But it's really cool to know that when you do get to that $10,000 mark, you've already had all the systems in place here, and then it's $350 a month or a day. And so that isn't that overwhelming once you've been doing this for a while and you've had these smaller steps to get to that point.
Absolutely. If you're a seller out there listening to this and your goal is $500 a month, this will still work for you.
Yeah.
That's still your $500. Make it work in your favor. Know where that money is going, where it's allocated, so that you know at the end of the day, that 500 is yours.
Awesome.
How do you get there? It doesn't have to be 10,000. That's what's so great about eBay. We have sellers that are selling $400 a month and they are so happy and proud of themselves. I'm proud of them too. They're on there doing this. We have multi-million-dollar sellers. We can work side by side on the same platform. And I think that's what's so awesome about eBay. You can make this yours.
Yep. Cool. Hey, listen, Liz, let's start with the beginning sellers, right? Because we got a lot of them listening right now, I'm sure. And, it's overwhelming. I mean, you're coming in, you're selling things, things start selling. At first, obviously, you're starting one here, one there kind of thing. But when you start selling and you start making some money, you get money in your PayPal and then your fees come in. How do you get organized from the beginning? Let's just break it down for someone who's just starting out. How do you break it down to know what your fees actually are going in, so that when you list that item, you know that if you're selling it for $40, you're going to have 10% fees or whatever the fees are? How do you break that down to understand what your net profit's really going to look like?
Right. So quite honestly, I didn't do the right thing for the first, I don't know how many years.
Yeah.
And that took me by surprise. I'm like, what do you mean? Wow, those fees, and
Yeah.
eBay wants a chunk and PayPal wants a chunk, and now I gotta buy mailing supplies.
I made $1.50 on that. No.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a 10 grand item.
$10, but not really. I think the number one thing for a lot of new sellers, and this could be a whole other segment, is shipping.
Yep.
Know your shipping. That's the number one thing that I believe gets a lot of new sellers tied up, and they end up losing money in shipping because they underestimate the expense of that. So when you're listing your item, know the weight, know the shipping price, know how much it's going to cost to get to sellers all over the United States or international, wherever you sell. Know how much you paid for the item. Know what your final value fee, what eBay is going to charge you for that. That depends on the category. So I don't know, I'm mostly clothing. All of my final value fees are 9% with a subscription. But if you're just starting out, you don't have a store, it could be as high as 10%.
Okay. But if you know that going in, that's just the cost of doing business. If you know going in what the fees are, there shouldn't be any surprises at the end of the day.
Absolutely. But a lot of people overlook it. And I can see why. There's a lot. Some people just think it's so easy, and it should be, and it is, if you have a handle on all this. So if you're new and you're watching this, you don't even realize how much of a head start you have. So on top of that, then you're taking PayPal. PayPal takes 30 cents per transaction plus 2-point-something% per charge.
Yep.
Then you have to allocate money aside for the IRS. Then you have to buy mailing supplies. Then your shipping labels and your ink. So all of that kind of gets factored in. So that $10 item that was sitting on your shelf, that's probably really like $7.
Right.
So do you
know what?
Go on. No, go for it.
I was just going to say, we're not trying to scare anybody. We're just trying to make everybody understand that, hey, it can be a very, very profitable business, but like any business, you have to know what the cost of business is to do, So, just listen to this and, take good notes. Liz has given us some good information so far, and we've got some more time here. So, just take some notes here and just make sure that you are on the same page, because, Liz is going to save you a whole lot of headaches that she found out on her own, and you don't have to make the same mistakes.
Absolutely. So again, I'm going to just recap really quick. If you're listening to this, things that you need to factor in when you're selling your item: How much did you pay for the item? How much is shipping going to be? How much are eBay fees? How much are PayPal fees? Are you going to use eBay's promoted listing? There may or may not be a fee in that. Do you have a store subscription? Do you need any supplies? And then your taxes. So those are the main things that, and again, it's not scary. I know it sounds like a lot. If you can just put this in a format, whatever works for you. I'm kind of old school. I'm a paper and pen.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So, half of my life is in a notebook. The other half is in my phone. I'm at that age where I'm in between.
Right.
Whatever works for you. As long as you're aware of it going in, you're going to be able to have a hold on this and have yourself a whole lot less headache.
That's right. And it's all about planning. It simply is about planning, because if you plan for it and you understand what your fees are, then you can accelerate your business by knowing that that's taken care of and all your fees are taken care of and all that, whatever you do with it, a spreadsheet, pen and paper. There's tools out there that can help you with all this. But, you get that out of the way, then you can accelerate your business by concentrating on the things you need to do, which is thrifting or, getting items to sell and listing them and selling them.
Absolutely. So, you've got your item listed, you're aware of all of your fees, you're ahead of the game. When you're new, it's not like you're starting with a stockpile of cash.
Yeah.
You did. I don't know. That's not the norm.
Right.
A lot of people just kind of snowball this business. I started selling out at 16 years ago. My son outgrew his preemie baby clothes. I was on maternity leave. I was like, I don't need these anymore. I heard of a thing called, I think it was called eBay or something.
Yeah.
Didn't even put pictures in our listings back then. I sold his baby
Oh
clothes.
my God.
More money than I actually paid for them.
Wow.
Right? So I was like, wow. So you take that money, and if I were new, it started off from one thing in my house, and it can start off from one thing in your house too. 10 things, 20 things. When I restarted and said, okay, I'm going from part-time just from fun money to, I don't want to leave the house because I want this to be my full-time job. How am I going to snowball this money? How am I going to make my money work for me? Okay, let's start with a small pile. What can I sell from the house? Okay, I've got those things listed. It didn't cost me anything. I sold $100 this month. Out of that $100, how much do you need and how much do you want to reinvest? That's going to be up to you to decide.
Sure.
You might take that $25 and buy 25 more things to turn in to another $100.
Right.
Take 25. Just keep in mind all of your fees. Keep in mind to hold some of that money back for you. Have a set amount of what you want. Do you want to take 25% of every sale for yourself until you figure out how much you're going to sell a month or how much is feasible for you to sell? But you can snowball it. One of the things I caution, and I know it's an easy thing to get into because I see it a lot. You sell $100, you take $100 out.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
That's $5. And then you get a return. And then you don't have any money for that to refund that return. Yeah. Just kind of keep that in mind as you're going forward and you're trying to make your money work for you. How much are you going to keep for yourself? But you can see how that $5 can turn into 25, hold some back, reinvest until you get the hang of it.
Right. And, as a beginner, even if your end game is $10,000 a month, don't put that burden on you. I mean, if you're beginning, set a $250 a month, number, just something really, really small, but it's achievable. It has to be SMART goals, right? So make it achievable and, get that 250. And if you find out you do that quickly, double it or quadruple it, whatever it takes, but don't start out and just take steps to get to that next level.
Absolutely. Find what you can do. If you're doing this part-time, how many can you list in a day? How many can you list an hour? Are you only doing this on Saturday? Are you doing it every evening?
Right.
How much time is this going to take you? I actually just had lunch with another fantastic local reseller, and we were going all over this. And she is kind of doing what I was doing. And she's taken this full time. She's got this. She's motivated me. I came home and I was like, I want to list. She's motivated me.
Yes.
Like, I want to goals. But that's kind of one of the things that she said. She's like, wow, now I know I'm not going to wake up in the morning and be like, I have no idea what I need to do. She's like, now I know what I need to do.
Yep.
I know that tomorrow morning I need to get up and find X amount of dollars to sell.
Yeah.
And then I need to figure out how long is it going to take me to picture all that? How long is it going to take me to list it?
Absolutely. Your freedom is yours. I mean, to do with what you need to do.
Absolutely. So I think that that's really set her on the track of having a goal and being able to allocate her time, and now knowing exactly what she needs to do instead of, I'm going to list 5 things.
Right. And hope they sell.
Numbers. Absolutely.
You know what I love about this is because I used to sell on eBay, and I remember seeing sales come in. I used to think, oh, look at that, I'm making all this money. And I never ever did anything you just said. So to me, it's an illusion. It's an illusion that I'm creating all this wealth, but I'm not, because I didn't realize I've got to pay the bill. Well, I probably realized subconsciously that I've got to do this, but you don't. You just look at that final amount and think, yes, result.
Right. You know what? I did the same thing for a really long time. And as a matter of fact, I was telling my husband, I went into the store the other day and I purchased an item. And as I was, and this was just a couple days ago, and I walked out and I'm like, I just made $100.
Yeah.
Well, because I bought it for 25 and I could easily sell it for 125. All the way, I've got my little bag with my one item. I just made $125 in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Not really, I didn't, because then I've got my
EBay fees.
So, in my mind, I'm telling myself, I just made $125. I didn't.
Right.
And even I know that.
Yes.
But I know that I was not trying to trick myself, but, just for that quick second thinking, wow, I made $125.
It's like
I'm sure there is that rush, right?
And then I'm like, well, that's still a really good profit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And like I said, there is that rush, I'm sure, when you get that sale and it's like, oh yeah, another one, it's just kind of cool, right?
Yes.
Loving it. Well, we've run out of time here, Liz. I'm sure you've got loads more stuff you can give here, but sadly run out of time. So the tips are, look at this in the real way. Just make sure that when you're covering all your costs, absolutely everything from the shipping, the bubble wrap to absolutely everything, and then see what the profit is. And then that allows you to work with that as the reality. So Liz, amazing information. Seriously, amazing information.
Yeah. And
Thank you.
Thank you for being a part of our summit. This is really awesome. We are so happy to have you on. And seriously, you are amazing. And that information you provided our listeners is just incredible. So hopefully everybody will get some information about that. Remember, if you're new, don't be hard on yourself. Be real with yourself. Do not try and cheat yourself, because you'll hate it at the end.
Absolutely. So sellers, good luck. You're going in well prepared.
Yeah.
Go hit those goals.
What's the best way people can contact you if they want to, Liz?
Oh, I have a couple of options. Facebook. I am Colorado Reworn, REWORN. Instagram, Colorado Reworn, same. Or on eBay, Colorado Reworn.
You're feeding them, subliminally feeding them here.
Yes.
It's gonna be a song next week. So brilliant.
Yes. So good luck, everybody, and thank you, Ron. Thank you, Ali.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And we'll see you all in the next summit. See you later, everyone.
All right.
Bye-bye.